Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Paul Reed and I'm a professional photographer. So my main love is monochrome photography, and I use a mix of film and also I use the Leica Q2 Monochrom as well. So that's a monochrome sensor camera, and I use both of those mediums really to produce the best monochrome photography that I can. This episode is sponsored by Frames magazine. Frames is a quarterly 112 pages thick printed photography magazine that feature both work from established and emerging photographers of different genres and mediums. They believe that excellent photography belongs on paper. Just go on over to the description of this video. There's also 10% off using coupon code PAUL10. I'm going to be showing you a bunch of images because I know that this channel is nothing without showing you some actual photography that I've taken. So I'm going to be showing you a bunch of images really shortly, and these images will be photographs that I've taken just whilst in London and in Glasgow. And I just love going to some of these busy places mainly for the foot traffic, really, to be honest, because sometimes with street photography, if you haven't got that much foot traffic, especially the type of street photography which I do, which is very character driven, then sometimes the subjects just don't come along. So that's really the reason why I go to some of these busier places to do my street photography. And that's where I hold my workshops. But when I'm doing my workshops, I make sure, that I'm not just teaching people what to do, that I'm actually taking photographs and, showing an example as to, what I do and my approach. So I'm going to show you just a bunch of those images now. What I've found is that sometimes I, like most, can be really hard on myself to do with my photography, and sometimes when I'm out doing street photography I can kind of just feel like I just want to go home sometimes, because it just can be so difficult whenever you're not getting the shots that you really want. And I think sometimes whenever some of your photography has kind of reached a level which you're really happy with, and then you go out and nothing seems to be happening, or you don't seem to be getting the inspiration that you need, that it can be quite difficult as a photographer. But we've got to remember that the reason why we got into photography in the first place is because we enjoy it. It's because it's fun. And the minute that fun goes out of the photography and we start to become so hard on ourselves, what's the point? It isn't a job. Now, I know photography is my job, but at the same time, that's not why I got into photography. I didn't get into photography because I wanted to make money from it. I got into photography because I just love capturing moments, and monochrome photography for me is it's my passion and I love doing it. But that passion and love can really get knocked right out of it if you start being so hard on yourself to do with the quality of your images. I know that you'll have been there too. You go out to do some photography and the light is just so flat and there's just nothing going on with the light at all. It's just like one huge softbox. And that's not what we are looking for sometimes as photographers, especially monochrome photographers, we really are looking at just the light, shadow, texture. And if that light isn't there, then sometimes we just want to give up because it just seems too hard. And actually, there's some great photography that you can do even in flat light. This is something, a lot of my workshops that I do, we can't rely on the weather. And, sometimes it's pouring down with rain, but the workshops still go on. And that's because one of the things which I, will show people is how to take, good photographs during those bad lighting situations. That includes like street portraits and things. You can still take great street portraits even when the light just doesn't seem to be there. So it is possible, but it does put a downer on things sometimes whenever you just look out and you think, man, this weather is rubbish and I just don't even know if I'm going to get anything good. But it is possible. What I do is I tend to look for where the light isn't getting to rather than, where the light is, because the light seems to be everywhere whenever it's flat light. But what I tend to do is kind of look for where the light isn't getting to. And because otherwise, you get these really grey, flat images. But if you look for where the light isn't getting to, then you can get your blacks there in your images, because that's where the light isn't quite getting to. And it's not the easiest of jobs to do. The other thing as well is that if your street photography is character driven, rather than it just being all about the that dramatic light, that one kind of shard of light or something like that. But if it's character driven, then there's always characters about to photograph, and that means that you can do your street photography and things in any light. We're all at different levels as photographers, and we also set the bar at different heights for ourselves as photographers as to what we believe is our best work. Sometimes I wonder if my best photograph that I'll ever take is one that I've already taken. What if I never ever get another Ben in the barn? Or what if I don't get another time traveler lost image? These are photographs that I see as some of my best work. And when I go out taking photographs, of course, I'm always looking for something as good as or better than those images. But I just, have to kind of stop being so hard on myself, because the pursuit of that perfect image, and when I say perfect, I don't mean technically perfect, I just mean perfect to you. The pursuit of that is, it's a great pursuit. It's something that is fulfilling whenever you go out trying to take photographs. There's nothing else that I can ever think of that gets you out walking and gets you really being observant of the world as photography. So I have to tell myself not to worry so much about that, as to that maybe what if I've already taken the best photograph that I'll ever take. The fact is, even on your bad days, even on those days whenever you go out and you think that you might not take anything good, those are the days that you might just get that master shot. That's happened with me before, where the whole day has been pretty bad and then you just get that one shot that you're so happy with, that all of the rubbish that went before it on that day, it just doesn't matter. So just keep going out there and keep shooting, but keep enjoying it, because it's supposed to be fun. That's why you got into photography in the first place. You didn't get into it to get really down about the shots that you haven't shot. Thanks again, everybody. I'll see you next time.